Shalom. Let me get straight into this lesson. So I'm going to be doing a continuation from the lesson that I did yesterday, going into there's neither Jew nor Greek. That's Galatians 3:28. In effect, let me just go to it. Salakia. One second. Right, so this is scripture Christians don't understand properly because they think when it said the word Greek that it's talking about so-called white people. But I'm going to prove to you those Greeks were Israelites. It says Galatians 3:28. There is neither Jew nor Greek. And there's so many points to make here. Why didn't it say any other nations? It says Jew nor Greek. Why is that? Because I went to the book of Maccabees, first Maccabees and second Maccabees, read the whole chapters, the whole books. And then to go to that our people couldn't call themselves so-called Jews. They couldn't call themselves Israelites. So if they couldn't call themselves Israelites, they had to call themselves Greeks. And this is how this happened. This is why they took the Apocrypha out of the King James Bible. So people that was trying to study this wouldn't be able to find out this information. Salakia. Galatians 3:28. There is neither Jew nor Greek, there is neither bond nor free, there is neither male nor female, for ye are all one in Yahushua Mashiach. So let's go here. I'm gonna show you something. So first off, you gotta understand that it was Israelites that were called Greeks and Grecians, same, Greeks and Grecians. But I'm gonna go to the difference so you can see. But those Greeks were Israelites as well. Some of them knew they was Israelites. A lot of them didn't know they was Israelites. They was waking up. Acts 6:1. It says right here. It says, in those days where the number of the disciples was multiplied, there arose a murmuring of the Grecians. So is this talking about so-called white people? We're going to see. Against the Hebrews, because of their widows were neglected in daily menstruation. So let's go to this word Grecian in the blue letter. And go back. All right, Grecians right here. G1675 at the top. So go to this word Grecians. So check this out. It says one, matter of fact, let's get straight to the point. Two, it says used in the New Testament of Jews born in foreign lands and speaking Greek. Read that again. It says used in the New Testament of Jews, Israelites, born in foreign lands and speaking Greek. They was called Grecian or Greeks. Bet you didn't know this. So they're not gonna never show you this in secular history. So let's go to this. Let's go to this right here. I'm gonna get straight to the point. It says Greek, so you got the word Greek as well. It says Greek was designation for civilized Israelites living in a Hellenistic way outside of Israel and also inside Israel at the time of the Maccabees. They spoke Hellenistic Greek, followed Hellenistic customs, and shared Hellenistic values and ideas. Like these Jakes today, they've been westernized. So let's go here. Right here. And this is why you got to be studious, man. Right here at the top of this information right here. It says, I have said all this to say that I believe that the Jews had adopted this word Greeks to apply to all those who were in fact Israelites by birth, yet who had adopted the form of religion, worship, and culture that dominated the Greek world around them. They had given up on the culture and religion, law and philosophy that God gave and had become like the culture that was coming around them. These were called by those who were faithful to these things Greeks. Well, there you go. So these Greeks were Israelites. Make a long story short. Let's go here. Let's go to John. John Salakia. Go back. I think that's 7 and 35. The book of John 7 and 35 at the very top. It says, then said the Jews, which I hate this word, but Judeans, the Israelites, right, the southern kingdom, among themselves, whither would he go that he shall not, yet we shall not find him? Will he go unto the dispersed among the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles? So the word really is supposed to be Greeks, right? When you look the word up. So it's supposed to be read in the way, will he go unto the dispersed among the Greeks and teach the Greeks, which would be the Israelites. They was talking about the Messiah. So let's go to this word, disperse. In diaspora, it says disperse, a scattering, dispersion. It says of Israelites dispersed among foreign nations. It says right here, number 2, of the Christians scattered abroad among the Gentiles. So the real Christians in the ancient sense of the word were Israelites. Now this new redefinition of the word Christian, it's all folly. They took the word Christian and added new definitions to it, right? That cause the confusion. So they can have you in a state of confusion. But the true ancient sense of the word Christians were the Israelites, them the Christians. And when you go into the word Christians, we never called ourselves that word. But say if you want to break the word down, a Christian is one who follows so-called Christ, which would be Yahushua. That word Christ is the name given to us. That's not the name Christ means the anointed, and that's not of Hebrew origin. That name is of a heathen origin. That's a pagan name, so we don't say Christ. Because a lot of you jakes that say this, say that you'll think you're waking up, you won't say the J name, but you'll say Christ. It's the same thing. It's folly. Right, let's go here. All right, it says, yes, in the Bible references Hellenistic Jews, Israelites, who were Greek-speaking Jews, particularly in the New Testament. So just showing you over and over. Now you had some, if you want to break it down in great detail, the word Grecian is, you know, when you go into the definition, it goes into a Greek-speaking Jew or Israelite. When you go into the word Greek, it's somebody that's from a Greek background, right? That's from, matter of fact, let's go to that word real quick. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna pull this Acts 16 and 1. We're gonna go to this word Greek. It says a Greek, a Hellen. All right, so when you go to the word a Greek, it says a Greek, a Greek either by nationality, whether a native of the main land or of the Greek islands or colonies. It says too, in a wider sense, the name embraces all nations, not Jews. So there's just that new definition that they put in here, right? So it embraces all nations. So why would it exclude the so-called Jews, the Israelites? No, it's including them too, because they had been Hellenized. They had been going back to the book of Maccabees, they was calling themselves Greeks. So those Greeks, when it was pertaining to them waking up, coming to the feast, I think that was an Acts, when they came to the Passover, those Greeks were Israelites, but they was calling themselves Greeks. Some of them knew they was Israelites. Some of them didn't know. A lot of them was waking up to the fact that they were Israelites. And some of them knew they was Israelites, but a large portion of them did not know they was Israelites. That's why they was calling themselves Greeks. going back into the history of the Maccabees. It's that simple, because Yahushua gave explicit instructions that not to go into the Gentile nations. I'm gonna get that next. And this is the word Gentile can be applied to Israelites, and it can be applied to actual heathens. It says in a wider sense, the name embraces all nations. So they added this, not Jews, in there. This is a new definition that made the language, customs, and learning of the Greeks thereon. The primary reference is to a difference of religion and worship. So, one second, let me go to this Matthew. Right, so Matthew 10 and 5, and it goes to show you our people are very unlearned, and you waking up, you're learning, you have to really understand what this stuff means. Matthew 10 and 5, it says, these 12 Yahushua sent forth and commanded them, saying, go not into the way of the Gentiles. And in this particular context, it's talking about anybody outside of an Israelite, the other nations in this context, because in some situations, this word Gentile or Gentiles is talking about Israelites. It says, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not. Let's keep going. It says, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. All right, so knowing the history, the northern kingdom had been already dispersed, and you had the southern kingdom that was dispersed as well. They had lost their way, but the northern kingdom had went into the Assyrian captivity, and they were scattered all over, and a lot of them came to the Americas, right? But it said, go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So he said, don't go deal with no other nations. Go to the lost sheep. And why were they lost? Because they lost their identity. They lost their way. They didn't know who they were. They were house of Israel. 7. And as you go preach, saying the kingdom of heaven is at hand. So that's who the kingdom is for. It's not for no other nations. It's only for Israelites. So anytime that it's pertaining to salvation, anybody waking up, anybody coming to Jerusalem, right? Waking up out of the Greek culture was Israelites, because you had, Israelites that were scattered, going back to the book of Acts chapter 2. They were scattered all around the known world. And a lot of them was calling themselves different. They was going by the different nations they were scattered to. Some of them knew they was Israelites, and a lot of them didn't. Like the same thing today. It was a time that we would sleep. We had to wake up out of that, dead state, and become spiritually alive to understand who we were. We know we're not black people. We know we're not Hispanic. We know we're not Native American. Same thing happened back then. The same thing happening today. So those Greeks, and you got the word Grecian, those were Israelites. All right. Hopefully this lesson was edifying. Call Allah Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rachat, Kodash. Shalom.